Hello everybody, Magus Descussion here once again, and this is a response to Magus's new Magus Descussion, what makes a good multiplayer. Now, as he mentioned in his original video, I think it's a good idea. I think it'd be a very good idea to first, outline what I think a bad multiplayer is. And in my opinion, the worst multiplayer I have come across is in the Sonic game, which sent the series on a downward spiral towards where it is today. Sonic Heroes. That two-player was just absolutely awful. Not just because it was limited to 2 players. Oh no. That would have been a major problem. For the controls were just as bad as the main game, and the graphics. Well, I'm not a graphics whore by any means. If a game's got decent graphics where everything just looks like you can tell what's going on, and the gameplay is a lot of fun, then I don't care about graphics. However, in this case, the graphics absolutely ruined it. Just absolutely spoiled any potential fun that could have been had in that two-player, two-player options. Well, it had a decent variety. The graphics were just such a downgrade, and so the frame rate was horrible compared to the rest of the game. And so you really got in the way of everything, and even in some cases I could not even see the characters as to where I was on the bloody screen to actually fight the opponent, and neither could whoever my opponent was. Really, it was just that bad. It just sucks out all the fun in the multiplayer game, like a horrible vampire mutated vacuum cleaner, just sucking up all forms of fun in the game the multiplayer could possibly have. Okay, that was a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the general idea. And that's another reason why I actually think the Shadow the Hedgehog is quite an underrated game, in my personal opinion. The multiplayer, while not as diverse, was still an upgrade from Sonic Heroes. It went back to basics, but you had a variety of weapons to use. You had some decent characters, got some decent graphics. To the stage, the controls worked well, and there were even some other things like vehicles in the environment which you could, use to make the thing more interesting, and there were a variety of different levels. Again, it was a lot more stable and so a lot more fun than Sonic Heroes, in my opinion. Granted, I think the Sonic Heroes multiplayer is not hard to beat, but still. This just gives me another reason why I personally feel that Shadow the Hedgehog was an underrated game. But now on to more good multiplayers. Now, what defines a good multiplayer? In my opinion, the core things that a good multiplayer must have are A, decent controls. Because if you just can't control and you're going here, there and everywhere, by just pressing the X button and you can't do a damn thing, then it's not going to be any fun at all. Decent graphics. Again, I'm not a graphics whore, however the graphics must be functional. Like in any game, so you must be able to tell where you are, what specific items are, what they do, etc., etc. The information. Thirdly, the information must be completely self-contained and easy to learn. While fighting game fans might disagree with this, I personally don't think that having to find endless amounts of button combos just to do one move, just to do one simple move, that just takes away from the fun as well. I prefer when it's more simple but easy to pick up, and once you pick up, you can figure out yourself different methods, and that's the fourth thing: variety. A multiplayer must have a variety of different things to do, whether it be co-op single player where you're working together and relying on each other, or a versus mode where you get various different matches. Say like in shooters you might get capture the flag, you might get deathmatch, you might get team deathmatch, you might get territory control, etc. And I also feel that a variety of different items like different guns, weapons, etc. You know, also help to enrich the experience, because there's never two-way. If you can go through a whole game and never use the same mood twice, sorry, that was my Yahoo there, I forgot to set it on busy. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, if you can go through a game and never use the same mood twice, unless you want to of course, in a whole multiplayer match, and feel that you can satisfyingly pull this off, you know, without having to master endless button combos, then I think that, you know, that has a lot of fun. Case in point, probably one of my favourite multiplayer games currently are Hogs of War. I've not played any of the Worms games, so I can't really comment on that, although I'm sure it's very similar in style to Hogs of War, because that's what Hogs of War is. You could call it a rip-off, but whatever. And Super Smash Bros. Brawl. There are so many different options and so much variety in the characters and stage design and items you can use, especially when you have 4 players involved. When you get up to 4 players, then I really think that you've got absolute madness there. And really, it is madness when you get a game like Smash Bros. Brawl, because there's just so many things that can happen and so many different stage environments. The controls are simple, they're easy to pick up and play. You know, you can do nice combos but don't have to use an endless amount of different button mashes to do. You can switch off items to have a pure skill match, or you can turn on all items or on specific ones to just have the craziness there. And just have it almost completely random who ends up winning, and just make it so different. Each match is so different, and just so much fun having it so crazy. Then that is just probably the most fun you can have. And in my opinion, if you get a game, you need to know what it's for. Well, I personally feel that Smash Bros. Brawl is primarily a multiplayer game. The single player mode practically sucks. You can get co-op, which is a nice little thing, but it's still the most fun you can have is the actual brawls with other people, either online. That's another thing. If it's online, it's even better. You can have both online and with people in front of you. That just broadens the audience and the amount of people that you can play with. But anyway, I digress. The brawls are the most fun part of it, and it more than redeems the quality that's lost through the sucky single player mode. If you get the game for just a fun party game where you just go and smash your friends to pieces, then you've got what you asked for. You've got what you paid for. If you want a broader game overall, then you'll probably be disappointed. And Left 4 Dead is an interesting one, because you can play both in multiplayer you can play both zombies and the survivors taking turns, and so you get plenty of variety there, but you still have to work together as well as think about what you're doing. I personally am not a fan of big strategy games because, well, I just crap at strategy games, quite simply. I'm crap at them. But I do think that there is a possibility of making things overly simple. There's a balance between making it simple enough to be able to pick up and play and do relatively well and learn more as you go on, and being too complicated and being, you know, and not being so complicated that, you know, or not being so simple rather that it just gets plain boring. And you've got a variety of different things to do, and a variety of different weapons to use, and all working together. And I'll just summarise this video by saying about MMOs. MMOs are the biggest multiplayer online experiences you can get. and while it might be too slow paced for people to get to the points where you do work together, I think that something like World of Warcraft has very good multiplayer experiences, even if it's only at very select points in the game, even if it's just end game. It still has such a variety, and if you're a nerd who can, like me, who can get absorbed into the fantasy world, then you know, then it's all for you. And really, I don't think you can. I think the best things, the best kind of multiplayer you can get are something like Brawl and World of Warcraft, because you're in so many different situations where you have to learn the strategy and work together to either win a battleground and versus other players, or work together in a group to co-op play to down big monsters. So yeah, so many different things you can do there, and that is, in my opinion, what a good multiplayer should be. This is Nightmare060, been a response to Magus X1, great friend of mine. Keep making all sorts of videos, and I shall see you all on the dark side of the moon. Over and out.